in a world where being a depleted coomer and a gooner is really the norm, people are going to be intimidated by you when you actually hold your ground and you hold people accountable. It's amazing how these people are allergic to accountability. Like, what I've discerned with business, for example, is there's two types of frequencies that you can really tune into when it comes to business. You can either be an energy harvester or you can be a sovereign creator. And to be a sovereign creator, you actually have to do what the Bhagavad Gita says, which is do the work and having the right to work, but not being attached to the outcomes. If you're working purely for the sake of reward, you're only going to be eating sin, as the Bhagavad Gita says. And this goes in line with a lot of what the Bible talks about as well, because in the Bible it says that you're not saved by your works, right? But your works show and demonstrate your faith to some degree. And I think that this makes sense, and it's also very appropriate, but it's also how when you are a sovereign creator and you are operating on a sovereign timeline rather than an affordable timeline, and for the Regal Academy members as well as the YouTube members here, you'll know what I mean by this in my videos, because that I do for exclusive content for them. But it's almost like these people, they expect you to behave certain ways, and I'm learning how to appreciate their snaky behavior. Like, I'm learning how to appreciate the role that they play, and then just see it for what it is, and then kind of giggle inside about it, and then move forward, and just know that these people are energy harvesters. Like, these people, if you're not a sovereign creator, you're pretty much going to be an energy harvester, because you don't have any energy, so you have to harvest other people's. And when they realize that you can't be easily manipulated, and you act the fool to play the fool, and you don't realize, like, the fool doesn't realize that you're playing the fool. And then when they do realize it, they're like, oh shit, excuse my French, but they're like, oh snap, The only reason why I'm being mindful of cussing, because I see a difference between cussing and cursing, is simply because I get the sense that my vocabulary is more capable than cussing and such, but it's not a big deal to me. It's just something that I'm practicing in the spirit of the time. But of course, I don't really give a fuck anyway. So anyway, the point is that you kind of have to realize that you can't negotiate with these people. And when you realize that you don't negotiate with these energy harvesters or terrorists, because they pretty much are terrorists, like they're invaders. These people are invading your privacy. They're trying to exploit you in any way they can. And they're playing like the honest John from Pinocchio. The honest John from Pinocchio? Remember the fox? Where he, puts his arm around Pinocchio and he's like, oh, hey, you know what? Like, I'm honest John. You're gonna be a star just like me, and I'm gonna show you the theater and all that stuff. That's exactly what these snakes are about to do. And when they realize that you're not a puppet, they're like, oh, this is a real boy, right? This is a real boy. This is a full sack king. Holy like, he doesn't seem like it on paper, but for some reason he treats himself with so much more respect than we thought he would be. That's the kind of mentality that you have to approach with, because sometimes it's good to not be seen coming, right? Like let them play their hand and be like, all right, now it's my turn. And oh man, like, it gets me pumped up just thinking about it. But it's kind of strange how these people do see you as intimidating, but also they like want to know your secrets. And then other people who see your vitality will respect you. Like, I had a very fascinating conversation with someone on the bus this morning, because I take the bus to the gym and have been for the last month just because I wanted to try something different and just, kind of slow down and not be so attached to certain things. But so I was there, and and I had a pleasant conversation with this guy, and he clearly, like, I was actually feeling a sense of love from this person. I wasn't feeling like he was just trying to hype me up for no reason. But it is kind of strange how you get treated like a celebrity sometimes. I mean, the guy was asking me, because I was carrying my gym bag, of course, and I have my racquetball racket there, and he's like, "Oh, dude, are you like a professional tennis player or something? Like, what are you?" Like, because he's just like, "Man, I can feel your zeal, bro." And I want to focus and concentrate on those types of interactions, right? I want to focus on those types of interactions rather than the people that are snakes. But also, at the same time, when the ill will from other people comes and they're like trying to push their negative karma, let's say, on me, or they're trying to push their sins on me and try to like repent for their sins, it's like I just notice it. I'm not as attached to it. In fact, I'm not really attached. Like, again, I'm really practicing appreciating the snakes and really appreciating that. And it's making me more intimidating to the snakes, and yet also more open to the snakes. And I think that they can feel that. In fact, I don't need to think about it. I know that they can feel that. And I suppose anything that we're doing and all things that we're doing in this life, like when you're just not depleted, you can see things so much more clear for what they are, and you can learn how to appreciate this vitality more. You can learn how to appreciate genuineness more. And like, there was somebody that I was thinking about over the past day or so specifically, and this was a person I knew years ago, and I recognized that, this person, they really did the best that they could, and they did a pretty damn good job. They really did. They did a great job. And it made me very thankful and very grateful for the people like that, and even the people that weren't that great, right, considering the circumstances. Like, for example, extended family members, or even, immediate family members of my past who I don't talk to at all anymore and haven't for years. I'm very grateful for them. Like, I'm learning to appreciate the role that they had to play in my own development. And that appreciation for, the narcissistic terrorists of energy, the energy harvesters, it made me more grateful. And I thought about all the business deals that I've done that were terrible. Like, I've had tens of thousands of dollars stolen from me. Okay? People don't realize what that is like until it happens. And then when it happens, it's like, wow. You kind of, you're I don't want to say forced, but you're like forced to reset in some way. Like, you're really dedicated and devoted to changing the way that you perceive the world in such a drastic way that you promise yourself that will not happen again. And it's not like you're attached to it not happening again. You're just more aware of the education process of what needs to happen now in the future. Because some of these business deals, I mean, I've had, again, like, I signed this contract for marketing, like, oh my gosh, it was years ago. And this contract, it was terrible. It was just, they had so many small little loopholes in their contract that when I saw that they were worthless, I just wanted to leave this contract. I just wanted to leave this contract. And legally, I was binded. And so I learned from that mistake that, like, in the physical world, the way the game works in the physical world is, by ink, right? Like by anytime you sign something or whatnot, like anybody that is in a haste for you to sign something, watch out for that, because that's a snake. If they're like an honest John from Pinocchio, oh hey, we're good pals, we're here to work together. No. Be mindful of that, because they're trying to play a game, and that's fine. Like, just kind of laugh about it, like acknowledge that they're the game, but it's a game that they're playing. So yeah, I mean, like, it's really about learning how to draw boundaries at the right moment with these people. And that's another thing that will intimidate people when you're not a gooner. You actually have standards and respect for yourself. It's like they don't know how to handle it, man. They're like, wait, this guy actually respects himself and he's going to enforce the boundaries. See, this is why in my business, like with my Godlike Mastery offer, for example, I don't have like strict contract rules or whatnot. I really aim to just let the soul of existence express itself through me and do what this must be. Like, I'm very reasonable and I'm very flexible, but I'm not elastic in my time for just anybody, because unless I'm in like a contract of truth with another individual, the relationship in of itself is not going to be personal for me. Unless it's personal and we make it personal, it's not going to be personal. So sometimes you just have to treat these transactional relationships as transactional. In fact, I would say most relationships are transactional. I used to think that all relationships are transactional, but now I know that the possibility for universal agape love has always been there. It always was there. It always is there. It's just a matter of how it's expressed. And sometimes you have to play the game while you do it. You have to play the game of the Matrix while you do it. But this is going to be, very insightful for the people that are prepared to hear this sovereignty signal on this sovereignty timeline, because ultimately you have to see these as like tests of your own internal strength and your own internal architecture. This is why in the Godlike Mastery offer, I really aim to give people a system to help them get out of systems. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, it means that their internal architecture is so strong that when the snakes do come, they can't do anything about it. Like, in fact, the snake just becomes so loved. It's like learning how to love a cobra. The cobra, because you're not afraid of the cobra, it's like, wow, the cobra is just like putty in your hand, but you have to actually love the cobra. And this is why Christ says to love your enemies. This is why Christ says to love your enemies. I realized this last night. I was like, oh, loving your enemies is like, it's like bypassing the Matrix entirely, especially if you're the one who is the enemy to be loved. You bypass the Matrix inside your mind, because that's where the Matrix is anyway. But it's just so fascinating, to have people really there's just so many different vasts of people and types of people that like really try to, well, they're really wanting to understand and understand you, and then others that really just are those energy harvesters. And the sovereign creators are the ones that I want to focus on and be around, and that's why I do what I do with the Godlike Mastery and such. However, with all that being said, I'm sure that this message reached those that have eyes to see and ears to hear and are wanting to be on regal timelines. We're not here because we have to be. We're here because we want to be. And that's a key mindset difference in which we approach the situations of life and of itself. So, have fun ignoring reality. Peace be with you, and be blessed.